For somebody that is in real estate or insurance, what would be like one play that they could take out of your playbook?
To not listen to anyone else but yourself. I'm Jade Shenker. There's a lot of people who are going to tell you to be something that they're not, and they want you to fit into a box. And a lot of that subconsciously may be them being afraid of you succeeding.
Welcome back to the BILF Pod, where authenticity trumps authority. Now, if you know real estate, then you definitely know today's guest. She's in a male-dominated industry. Then she's also trusted by high net worth clients. In addition to that, so young, beautiful, is also on Owning Manhattan's Netflix reality show. Welcome to the show, Miss Jade Shenker. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction. I'm like, wait, who is that? Thank you.
You.
Oh,
that is you. That is so, I love it. That is boss right there. You are such a boss. But so I know like you didn't really want to get too personal when we were talking off air, but I'm really curious, like, did you grow up wanting to always be in the real estate world, or how did that work out?
You know, it's funny. It's like when you're raised by a family who does things. And for me, like, I'm an only child.
Me too.
Oh, okay, so you understand.
Yeah, that makes sense now. Now it makes sense. Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you're used to making friends. You're used to figuring things out.
Yeah.
And when you have a family business, whether it was a laundromat or a building or many buildings, like for me, it was always about, okay, well, how can I come in? How can I make this better? And how can I enjoy what I'm doing while also like, you know, like I've always loved to spice things up in my own way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, yeah.
Is that what did you go to school for that?
I tried. So, yeah, in college, I graduated top of my class in high school and did honors college. And I remember at first I was like, okay, like let me go to school for real estate.
Yeah.
And and I remember there was one class where they were like, okay, well, if you get into real estate, these are the jobs that you're going to get or the careers. And I was looking and I was like, okay, appraiser. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. They're like real estate attorney or like all these different things. And I was like, where is a developer? I was like, I want to like an investor. And I was like, that was like the first sense where I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. Second was I couldn't pass microeconomics. And I was like, I was like, you know what? Like, what makes the most sense? And I was like, okay, like, let me take a step back. I was like, I want to be able to oversee building legislation, right? Because that's the biggest thing. If you go outside, it's okay. Well, what's going to be approved? That's how you're able to live in a building with, 100 units rather than one. So I actually ended up majoring in political science. I got bullied. And then I chickened out and went to communications because people were a lot nicer. And my focus was public relations because if you're going to help public policy, I think the number one thing also is understanding how to communicate with the public.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so funny. Yeah, I went to school for criminal justice, which is so crazy. But like, I don't know if you were raised like this. Being an only child, there's a lot of pressure. Yeah. So like growing up, my mom was she had like my trajectory written out for me.
Really?
That I was going to be a prominent attorney. That's like, and I thought that I went to a pre-law magnet high school. I went to Fort Lauderdale High School.
Oh my gosh.
Then I got both a master's degree and an undergraduate degree in criminal justice from the University of Central Florida. And like, I thought that's what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in those classes. And honestly, like, I know I got the master's degree because I was kind of on the fence. Should I do this and go into law school? But, the pressure's there. So the thing for me is that sales was not an option. Like growing up, that was just kind of cliche. I don't know if it was like that in your house, but like you did not say the S word. It was like the only acceptable career was either a lawyer or a doctor, maybe an accountant, but not a salesperson. So I remember telling like when I first went into insurance sales, I remember like going back to my mom and she like literally choked. She was like, "You've never sold anything in your entire life. Like, how are you going? You have Mara, you have a degree. Like, what are you doing? And so going into sales was something that I never fathomed ever. I just really thought that, you went to school, you got higher education, you went to corporate America, you made 6 figures. And that was just kind of the way that I was raised. So I don't know, were you was that a similar upbringing?
And I feel like I hear so many stories like that. And for me too, coming from like an ownership background, like the people who own buildings, like a broker was always like a bad word. Yeah. Like we're like, no, we don't want to deal with a broker. We don't want to pay a broker. Ooh. So it was kind of crazy. But no, like my parents didn't put any pressure on me. If anything, it was the opposite. It was like, they kind of were like, okay, well, follow your passion. My dad had like a trust. He had established a trust. And what I think it was like more like I wanted to like prove everyone wrong. I was like, don't tell me what to do. Yeah. It was like the rebellious, like.
I think it's an only child thing. Yeah. Because if you tell me I can't do something, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Like, don't say I can't because I will.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, don't say that.
That was like more of it. And I remember I snuck out one time and I lied to my parents about working. My first job was so you're from like South Florida. Do you know Aventura Mall?
Of course.
Okay. So do you know Charlie's Grilled Subs?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember I flirted with a guy. I lied about my age to get a job there because I wanted my own money so badly. Yeah. And I was a little person who did the samples. Like samples.
Yeah, the free ones. Yeah. I know. Yeah, you walked around the mall, the whole little food court and grabbed one. Yeah, you were that girl. I know.
Yeah. And then after that, I also lied to my dad. This one was like I got grounded for this. So I had a boyfriend who worked for, I don't know if I could, you might have to bleep this out because my dad's very connected in certain worlds. Right. And there was this one restaurant in Bal Harbour that's very popular. Yeah. But they have a lot of ties to the mafia. Yeah. They opened up a second location. Ooh. And they wanted me to work for them as like a hostess. And it was like great money. I was 15. And especially like now with everything with the files going on, I can see why my dad didn't want me working there. Yeah. But I was like, no, I'm going to work then. I remember like I was making so much money as like a 15, 16-year-old as a hostess. Sometimes like I would just like walk people to their table. They would tip me $100, like all of these crazy things. And I remember I'm working one day. I'll never forget it. And I'm standing there and all of a sudden my dad walks in. My heart sunk to my stomach. Ooh. He just beelines to the owner, which I had no idea how he knew that the owner would be there that night. And just I hear like yelling and I just went to the bathroom and I waited and then I hear Jade and I was like, oh, I'm fucked. So yeah, I've always been someone who like enjoyed working, and I think it's paid off to my benefit. Yeah, always a hustler. Like it was the same kind of mentality. I saw like even though this American dream was painted for me. Yeah, I watched my mom. Because she was a single mom. My dad died when I was very young. I watched my mom hustle. Like I remember my mom had a full-time job, but then on the weekends she would go help her friend in the beauty parlor. So like the hustle, the grind was always part of like my makeup as well. But what brought you from Miami to New York? I mean, I can understand. I love it here, but why New York? So my dad has a building here. So in learning the ropes of stuff, that was always kind of like, okay, well, I'll take care of stuff. And my dad is older. So he was like, oh, like, you can help me with stuff. And I remember at that time I was 19 and I got approached to run for commissioner of my city. I was always very vocal with, okay, well, let's do this. Like, and a lot of like the galas I'd go to. So I got the attention of someone. Look at you. Thank you. Yeah.
Miss Commissioner. I love that.
Well, it's also like the world. It was a guy who I was dating at the time before I met the guy who I'm going to tell you about. But his brother was like, oh, wow, you'd be great to run for commissioner. I was 19. He's like, that's very inspirational. I was always, I want to say well-spoken and I understand zoning and stuff. So started out as planning and zoning committee member for Hollandale. Wow. And then was going to run for commissioner and I was so excited. And then I fell in love with an Australian who moved to New York, and I dropped everything to move to New York, handle my dad's building, and later get married and then divorced.
Listen, me too, honey. Me too. It's all right. There is life after divorce.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I was also married really young and then divorced by 30 with 2 kids. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I think it's so chic. It is so chic to be divorced by the age of 30.
I mean, listen, I think I don't know about chic. I love that. I think I'm going to say that now that I'm very chic because I was divorced by 30. No,
Yeah.
I got married very young. I had kids very young, and that was just kind of like what happened. And still at that moment, I was in sales a little bit, but not as hardcore as I am now. But I'll tell you, being divorced with 2 kids definitely pushed my back against the wall to have to build something big.
Yeah.
So that's like when my career really took off, is when my back was pushed up against the wall. My ex-husband, whom I'm very good friends with, just couldn't afford to take care of the kids. There was just no way. So at that moment, I was like, I have to do something. And then that was it. That's how my whole trajectory really changed and everything.
Yeah.
But it was really my kids, the driving force that was like, you have to be big.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But this is not about me. So now you're you're divorced. At what age did you get divorced?
So the technical term is legally separated.
Yeah.
Which
this state does legal separation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida, you can just be like, bye.
Yeah. Well, for me, and you probably know this, because I'm an independent contractor, part of, us deciding to separate was I like health insurance. And that's why we decided to legally separate.
Yeah.
So we could still have that. But I think I want to say I found out about the infidelity in 2022, I believe. 2023 was like therapy, and we were filming for the show. And I want to say the following February, so technically 2024, February 2024, right before I moved into my own apartment, was when we like filed the papers.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, we have assets together. Yeah. So obviously it's like different to like having a child, but we still communicate for that. Right. And but I'm always very honest. And I don't know if he ever like watches the stuff that I say on podcasts, but I'm like, it's true.
I mean, it's true, whatever. It's all part of, I always say it's all part of the story. Yeah. It makes for, that's just part of it. So now you get divorced, and thank God you were able, which I think is really important for women, because a lot of times when women get divorced, they're not able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. But
you already were in real estate by this time and kind of running your own deal.
So I started with Surhant in 2021. Okay. And it was so fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to do commercial at this like very like media focused company, because that's what's needed. And again, like I was always coming from like the ownership standpoint. And whenever you hire a commercial broker, my frustration was like, dude, like you guys are putting it on CoStar, which people really can't see it unless you're a broker.
Right.
You guys don't have photos. Like, what am I paying you for? Like I still to this day am so frustrated.
And that was 2021?
That was, that was like between like the frustrations were like from 2016 to 2021 when I actually like did something about it.
Right.
And I was like, why am I paying you tens of thousands of dollars to do literally nothing? So whenever I saw Ryan, I think I like Googled and I like saw this guy was like doing all this YouTube stuff. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then started working with him. And then I want to say a couple months later, my dad had gotten like super sick. So I went to Miami, spent some time there.
Yeah.
And then came back here, was like, oh, okay, like we're good. My dad's like alive. And then I found out I was cheated on.
Oof.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like I was like, what is going on? And I was dealing with like a whole, which I still am dealing with, this whole like legal situation with my dad being elderly and people neglecting and all these things. So, and honestly, like I'd never paid rent by myself, because I kind of went from being 19, falling in love, coming here,
getting married.
Yeah. So I never really got to learn about myself and like just be on like my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Like make my own money, like really my own money, and go out and go shopping and not have to run that by someone. Or
interesting.
Yeah, it was like, I remember the first time I visited a girlfriend of mine in like deep Queens, and I didn't ask anyone to go. Like I just went, and I remember just walking the street, and I just felt so liberated. And I was like, this is crazy.
So was that like a turning point for you where you're like, all right, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and like.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, I
Isn't
kind
that
of
funny?
was like.
Life has a funny way.
I feel like life makes you do things that you have to do in order for you to evolve.
Absolutely. It puts you in an uncomfortable situation to make you comfortable in the end. And like that was your turning point where you're like, okay, I like this feeling. Now what?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's just been a process of figuring it out. And yeah, look, like I spend a lot of money. Like I was like, okay, well, I have to learn how to do this. Like I have to learn how to save,
right?
Which I'm still learning how to do.
It's ever evolving process.
And invest. That I'm actually decent at. And just like manage life.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my journey. And what's really cool is after, well, it's not cool, but it's cool that I get to see it is right after finding about the infidelity. I got greenlit for the show on Netflix. So we started filming, and then the last 4 years has just been like a mix of filming, working, show airing, and then being able to actually become like a businesswoman in all senses.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because I think, again, going back to like the college person who was like, okay, well, attention and communication is the driving force to everything. If you're able to communicate learning or experience or sales or legal stuff, it's like I think that's the core focus of any business endeavor.
I mean, it's a big look. You went a lot of things that you said, a lot of women go through it. You know, you went a pretty traditional route as far as like going from, you know, living at home with your parents to all of a sudden you're married, your wife, you're still reliant on a man, you know, per se. Then everything kind of changes, shifts. And here you are in this like weird world of like in between, you know, it's time to adult. And I think a lot of women kind of get stuck because they don't know what to do. You know, where do I go? I've been somebody's significant other or daughter for so long. Well, where's my identity in all this? And I love how you kind of, I mean, you own it, you say it, but then not only do you own it, you come into like a woman, into adulting and doing like things that you probably were really uncomfortable with. So now you negotiate. I mean, like, think about that. That's a huge transition. You went from like really a little girl to a woman, you know, all in that 4 years. And now, I mean, you're at the table negotiating huge contracts with high net worth people. That's a lot to be said.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah. No, I am. Like, I think.
And a reality TV show at that.
Thank you. It's great. It's funny because I do feel like as far as like dealing with clients, like that's probably that's like where I'm most comfortable. Because again, like for that, like that's something I was always, since I was 15, you know, talking to people, understanding their goals, understanding the ecosystem of the person.
Yeah.
But for me, like doing it for myself, it was like so different.
Right.
And it's funny because like when you're on a reality show and you're also going through what my astrologist calls the dark night of the soul, which is like your hardest moments. I remember like on the show, we're filming for like 6 months, and I was like, I'm expressing all this stuff. Like I have to win after this. Like this is on TV. This isn't just national. This is global TV. And I'm now the person that all these women are going to look at and be like, okay, where is she now? Like she went through this crazy moment, found out she was cheated on. And like that was probably the scariest moment because I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone's watching me. Like I'm writing this story, but like I don't know the ending, but the ending has to be good.
Yeah. I have to win.
Yeah. It's like being at the gym when like if everyone's watching you like perform something, you're like, okay, this has to be good.
Yeah.
But also like I don't know how it's gonna end. So that was like probably the hardest point. But again, like that's why I love like platforms like TikTok, for example, because if you share everything, people can see like life's not just, oh my gosh, you're a stunning woman who has a business. No, there's ups, there's downs, there's all these things that happen in between. And,
right.
And, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so important, especially for your generation, because I work with your generation a lot. And I would say that there's a huge difference. And I don't think it's either good or bad. I just see it like in quality of work and the angst to that hustle. I don't see it as much like within your generation, that hustle, that fire. So here you are, you know, you are hustling, you have that fire in you. Is it intimidating for you when you're meeting these high net worth clients? Do you ever feel like, oh my, never. You never feel like that?
Never. I've gotten intimidated with like if someone is I'm trying to think of like a time that I've been in with high net worth people, never. Like, cause I don't know, like I just
that's good. I mean, that's good. It's like when people ask me, do you ever feel like, because now I use like the male dominated industry like to my advantage, but I never felt like that. I never felt like, I just felt like I worked with my peers. It was never like male dominated until somebody pointed it out. So like people would ask like, were you ever uncomfortable? And I was like, I don't think that I even realized it was male dominated. Yeah. So maybe the same thing for you. Like, they're high net worth people, but like they're people, you know, they're not, that's just the label that we gave them. So you have done so many amazing things in such a short period of time. For somebody that is in real estate or insurance or, you know, in the sales world, what would be like one play that they could take out of your playbook?
To not listen to anyone else but yourself. Yeah. Because what you don't realize is there's a lot of people who are going to tell you to be something that they're not. And they want you to fit into a box. And a lot of that subconsciously may be them being afraid of you succeeding. Yeah. And sometimes it is people within your circle who are close to you. And they can love you and that could be amazing, but you don't know what their subconscious is afraid of. And if you listen to them and you listen to all the noise, you're not living authentically. And there's a reason, there's a voice in your head telling you to do something. Yeah. Do it. That's what I think is the biggest thing.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. That's I think that's the biggest thing. And for me, like my experience has been every time I listen to that little voice, really cool things happen.
Yeah, because you know that gut is not wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not. If it's saying don't do it, don't do it. Mm-hmm. You know, that voice, like I always say, there's like a good angel and there's a bad angel, right? And then there's like the internal voice. And if the good angel is outweighing the bad angel, don't do the bad with that bad angel. But when the internal voice like is saying something to you and they're telling you it feels wrong or that person's not aligned with you or whatever it is, like it's just noise. And you're absolutely right. Listen to your gut every single time. It will win. Nobody wants to believe it. And I love how you said, just do it. Like that's my favorite slogan by Nike. Just do it. Like stop getting in the way of you and just do it. You're your worst critic. Just do it. It's not that hard. Yeah. It really isn't. When it comes to negotiations, and I'm sure you've negotiated some like amazing contracts. Like give us a little bit about that framework. Set me up for that. What does that look like?
I love, like that's like my favorite part. Because again, like that's.
Do you play hardball? Are you like, do you stand firm?
It depends. To be honest, it's like almost like, it depends on, the best analogy that I give to negotiation is playing tennis. Knowing your opponent. Yeah. Or the person on the other side. Because again, we're trying to get to the same, we're trying to get to the end goal. So I never want to say opponent, but in tennis, it is your opponent. So understanding the player, their objective is to get a good deal, right? You want a good deal. So for me, it's always balancing, okay, well, how do they communicate? Are they also trying to get to the finish line? And do I have to just understand what their needs are?
Right.
Because whoever I'm representing, whether it's a tenant, we could probably, throw in some things that's going to help the person on the other side,
right,
that for us don't mean anything. Like to us, it's pretty easy. And for that, sorry, my phone keeps it's blowing off the hook. I'm gonna throw it over there. It's ringing off the hook. But when negotiating, it's understanding what's really important to the other person and what's really important to the client that you're working with.
Right.
And then once you have that, all of the middle stuff is just creativity, because you can go with the base things of, okay, well, let's just say we're negotiating a lease, right? We can say, okay, for that lease, we're going to put in, certain capital improvements, and we're going to do, I don't know, there's so many different scenarios. But when you understand your opponent's goals there,
right, the end goal,
you can kind of
finagle.
Yeah, tickle it a bit.
Yeah.
I'm being very cautious with my words.
No, I get it, because I just bought a sixplex.
Okay.
So for me, my goal was I wanted to have income. I wanted it, but I also did not want to spend an arm and a leg. I knew that I can take a fixer-upper. I also knew that I wanted them to be fully occupied. And I knew that for me, the end goal is obviously to have cash flow. Maybe not now, but in 20 years, I'd like to have cash flow.
Yeah.
So the seller, which I don't do real estate, so I don't really know much about it. But the seller, I'm assuming, because the price was where it was at, is that the seller wanted to sell. And you can kind of tell from the offer that they came back. So when you say finagling and understanding, I get what you're saying. And I'm trying to get into real estate myself now. I like this BRRRR method. That's a term, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm into this BRRRR method thing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm researching, girl. Maybe this will be my second career, real estate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think real estate is the coolest thing ever. You meet the coolest people.
Yeah.
And what I love about real estate too is, so you mentioned high net worth people, right? Yeah. Most real estate people, you won't even know if they're high net, you won't know if they're worth $1 billion or 100,000.
Yeah.
Everyone looks the same, they act the same, and they're people that are real, I would say business entrepreneurs. I feel real estate people are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And they're just they're quirky. And I found that out through dating. I was oh wow, I know my clients, but I never, when I'm with a client, I'm so locked in. It's almost like being autistic, I'm so, damn, I'm good in a good way. It's
I get it. Don't worry. We'll cut that part. We'll cut it so you don't get canceled. Don't worry. We'll cut it.
It's almost being so focused. That's a good word.
Yes.
It's just understanding that. And I was oh crap.
But once you understand the client, it's a lot easier, or your opponent, or the person that is on the other side of the table. It's a lot easier to just kind of make that deal happen.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things now that you're getting into real estate is seller financing. So that's something, that's a concept that in the last couple of years, with interest rates being a bit higher than obviously they were during COVID, and people wanting to sell for a certain price.
Right.
One of the happy mediums that we have seen is sellers offering seller financing. So when a seller wants to have a certain bottom line and a buyer wants to come in and get a better interest rate,
right,
that's where, rather than selling something for say $2 million, the owner actually nets maybe $2.6 million.
It gives a lower finance, or it gives them a lower interest rate.
Correct.
Ooh.
So those are things that, or you can do one thing that I was talking about with my clients. So right now we're in Soho, right? I do a lot of work in Tribeca, and we're looking for a rental for $14,000 per month. And he was okay, at the end of his 12 months, he wants to purchase something.
Okay.
So we're looking at stuff, this and this. His friend sends him a property, and the property is worth $3.5 million.
Right.
He's like, I really love this. And I was like, let's backtrack, because if you are going to buy something in a year, by renting something for $14,000 a month.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why can't you rent to own?
That's exactly. So we're like, okay, maybe we'll do a contract of sale that closes in 6 months. You pay rent to them for, say, $20,000 a month.
Right.
That $20,000 goes towards your down payment. So at the end of the 6 months, rather than paying rent to someone else that you're, kind of just losing.
Right. It goes into
your down payment of something that you would have already wanted to purchase.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
I love that.
So those are a lot of situations. I'm going to throw this here. See, this is like a real life of like.
I know, that's why my phone is over there, because everyone will call me. Everyone and their mom will call me. So I leave it over there.
Yeah. Especially like different time zones too. Like sometimes like I remember I started dating, and it was whenever I first started dating this guy, and he's like, why do men keep calling you at like 12 in the morning?
They're on California. They're on Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah,
exactly. I have an
office
like, there too.
Yeah, I was like, it's okay. Yeah, or I do a lot with like Europe and Israel, and I'm like, it's just like how they work.
Yes, on those time. All right, girl, ready? We're gonna have some fun. All right, we're gonna switch gears, and you're gonna quick answer. Just no overthinking. Luxury or leverage? Would you rather have a bigger budget or better leverage?
Better leverage.
Deal or no deal? What's a non-negotiable for you when you're choosing clients?
Excited.
Okay.
Like them being excited.
Yeah. New York City energy. What's the most only in New York thing that happens in a deal? Like only would happen here in New York?
You're walking through the building and there's dead rats. And the smell of dead rats.
Oh, that's so, I don't think I could deal. Ew.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do that. Oh, I can't.
You got to.
No, I could not do that. I don't know. And now I think you just turned me off. No, I want to do something because my daughter's coming here. All right, so we're going to switch gears real quick again. So reality show. I know we only talked like briefly about it. Reality TV is still TV. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of it, I'm sure there's realistic parts. But how do you kind of get your authenticity out there when you're filming?
I forget the camera's there.
That's a good answer. So you just act yourself the whole time?
Yeah. That's been like the biggest compliment I get. People are like, oh, you're the same exact, 100%.
And how do you deal with people that have something negative to say about you?
Which is every day.
So what do you do? Do you just kind of like, whatever? Okay. I feel like you've made it when people talk shit about you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's great.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to be you.
Yeah, like I don't care. You don't pay my bills. Keep scrolling. I don't get this. People leave negative comments on your social media, or like, then keep scrolling. Why would you even take the time to write the negative comment? Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
I know. And I'm like, oh. Like, even like my cast members or people around, like, I don't care about you.
Yeah. What happens when they kind of publicize your life? Maybe not in the perception that you'd want. I mean, are you like, okay, I'm sure you are.
It used to bother me. And now I'm like, ooh, like I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, we're talking about me again. Like
that's the only way you can do it. And then people create their own perception. But I'm sure there's tons of young women that you're influencing too.
Yeah.
Like in a positive way. So I'm sure for every negative thing, you probably get 3 or 4 positive reviews as well. I mean, my daughter, I was telling you, she's 18. She's coming in. Like, I would love for her to talk to you. You are such a positive vibe and such an inspiration to the younger generation. And I love how you just kind of own it. Like, I love how you sat down and you were like, yeah, it's divorce, whatever, next.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Because, you learn so much in a divorce.
Oh, like, yes. About yourself.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
About the other person.
Yeah. About negotiating.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
I didn't have anything to negotiate, so it really didn't matter for me. We had no money. We were broke, so it was fine. It just worked out in that way.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Baruch Hashem, like that makes it easy.
Baruch Hashem, yes.
Yeah.
אני מדבר עברית. קצת.
Oh, I didn't know you're.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I love that.
You can't tell that I'm Jewish. We'll have to cut this out. Edit it out.
Wait, no, I love that.
Yeah.
No, but you speak Hebrew.
Kitzat, yeah, a little bit.
Oh my gosh. No, yeah. I wish I spoke.
My first husband was Israeli. Makes sense now. From Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Makes sense now. Now it does. Now I know. I knew as soon as you sat down, I could tell. I could smell juice from miles away. I could see it right away. All right, girls. So as we end, we're gonna wrap it up. I need you to give some drop the mic type advice to any young woman out there that wants to be an entrepreneur, get into real estate, just any kind of entrepreneurial business.
Leverage your network. I used to be so afraid of being myself, and I remember I'd be in these rooms, whether it was a club or whether it was a gala. And as a young woman, you play a different success playbook than men. A man is easily respected. A woman has to earn that respect. And I think if you're able to look at that strategically and be like, okay, well, I am not intimidating to most, and I can get into rooms a lot easier because I'm not intimidating. If you're able to leverage those rooms and those situations and be focused in your goals and what you're trying to do and your relationships, there's so much room for success and whatever you do. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned.
That's amazing. And what's next for you?
Oh my gosh. I think there's a lot of things, delving more into the investing in companies and trying to be a bigger and better voice for what I needed when I was getting into the industry. I'm coming out with a course to just help people a little bit, commercial real estate focused, but I want to be able to just inspire people and offer advice, because I'm not great at responding to every email or DM, and I feel really grateful to have such wonderful women who watch the content that we post, and I want to be able to show how you do things.
I love that. And if they want to find you, where would they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is just my first and last name, Jade Shenker, or TikTok. TikTok, I'm very authentic, Jade S. Shenker, or email. And yeah, those are my channels.
I mean, you are just everywhere. I love it. Your energy is just infectious. I love it. I mean, if you're watching today's show, you already know the deal. Hit like, subscribe, tell a friend. And you know what? If you don't like it, just unsubscribe. It's okay. And obviously, if you've watched Owning Manhattan, then you know that Jade doesn't just negotiate deals. She sets standards. And that's what that's what you need to do. I want you guys to really think about that. Think about something that you're just kind of not putting your foot down, and think about the standards or maybe the boundaries that you need to set for yourself. That's my challenge to you. And again, if you like the show, then stay tuned for more amazing episodes. But I just want to thank you for coming on, hanging out. I love it. I love that you're inspiring young women. I love that you just are unapologetically you. I love that for you.
Thank you. Ooh, I love that. Unapologetically you.
Yes, girl, you are. I love it. All right, guys, until next time, we'll see you on the BILF Pod.